Yeah, right, exactly. Like, and that's the smart thing to do, in my opinion. Yeah, it's by design. Well, I don't know if it's by design or I have no idea.
As of recording this video is
thing to do.
Months from now.
Amputate and cauterize. Yep.
Was initially sent to me regarding Bush's departure. I contact my insider to talk about it, and sure enough, it's true. But it's not the only problem happening over at BioWare these days. Not by a long shot. A follow-up email from my source within EA adds serious fuel to this ongoing fire. Correspondence from my inside source via their anonymous email stated, "Hey Jeff, Karine is indeed gone. The current rumor is that they will announce the closure of BioWare Edmonton sometime around February, just before the Electronic Arts Town Hall. Basically, when EA talks about what is going on for the last fiscal quarter and what's next."
That's smart. Yeah, I would have done that too, because like that way they can show to their investors that they're taking action whenever a product doesn't go well. That's a very good decision by them. I would have done the same thing. It's like a sacrifice.
I'm going to redact some things.
Looks good for shareholders. Yeah, exactly.
Who this is, and then finish it with her account was deactivated. Good riddance. Yep. Time for that DEI BS to end. According to the source, BioWare Edmonton, the studio's flagship location, is now rumored to be on the chopping block next by EA. The studio opened its 3-story office just 5 years ago, and it's already on the way out by the looks of it.
That sucks.
The closure is allegedly set to be announced in February 2025, just before Electronic Arts' quarterly town hall meeting, and the timing couldn't be worse, as EA is undoubtedly using this as an opportunity to discuss their fiscal performance, how Dragon Age The Veilguard failed so badly that they had to literally close the studio to make sure the shareholders are appeased. And
well, if I was a shareholder, I would be appeased. Because it shows that you're willing to make tough decisions in order to maximize consumer value, or shareholder value. Like, absolutely, I would be happy. That's what I would want them to do. How would it not be what you'd want them to do?
This news is coming amidst growing concerns about BioWare's stability. The company has struggled mightily to recapture any of its former glory, with recent projects falling short of expectations, and it goes to show once again that it's not the studio that makes great games, it's the people.
Yeah.
And just because you have a fantastic name at the front door doesn't mean jack squat if the people you hire in are DEI hires with no talent trying to inject their own ideologies in games that nobody wants to play. And no, there's not really a nice way to say that. That's why people get so mad at me. I'm like,
yeah, that's it. Let's address this. Why do so many game companies come to this problem? Because it's not game companies. It's entertainment products. Like, you see this same problem manifest in comics. You see it manifest obviously in politics because that's where it comes from. You see it manifest in movies and TV shows, you know, to a lesser extent in music, and it's happening in games too. And the reason why is that if you're a person who is hell-bent on putting a message out to the public, what would you do? Well, you would go to the places that specialize in putting out messages to the public, right? Wow. Mystery solved. That's it. And so, of course, right, because like this is the medium that they want to use, because this is the most effective way to change people's perspectives from their mind.
This is the reality, and this is the harsh, cold world we live in.
You're naive if you think it's happening organically.
Eliminate the objective.
I mean, I don't know. Is this like a global conspiracy? I mean, I don't really think it's like, so you can be right, and I can also be right. I can't, if you think it's a global conspiracy, there's nothing I can tell you that will make you think that it's not, right? I cannot tell you anything that will make you not believe that. But what I can say is that with the situation like this, there are people that are acting individually towards this end that do not have any connection to some sort of fucking Illuminati level conspiracy. They are just moving towards this goal because they think that's the right thing to do.
When it comes to the gaming world, if you're not giving people something they want to purchase, you will be out on the street. Too bad, so sad, sorry, not sorry. That's reality. Take it or leave it. But regardless, the world is going to pass these people by because they're so ideologically affected in their own mind on how the world's supposed to work, as opposed to how it actually works.
Yeah.
And I know this video is obviously focused on BioWare and how it's self-destructing currently, but this trend is not limited to BioWare. I saw Thomas Mahler, the developer behind Ori and the Will of the Wisp and No Rest for the Wicked.
Yeah, I played that.
On Twitter, he's a developer that I highly respect and someone with a lot of wise words. And he said Witcher 3 came out 10 years ago. And Witcher 4 isn't made by the same people that made Witcher 3.
Fucking base.
I think we have to be careful regarding optimism. People expect Bethesda to make the next Skyrim, but game development is all about the people behind the scenes. That team who made Skyrim what it is doesn't exist anymore. Brand means nothing. Talented teams are everything. And I think gamers in general, especially the generic average gamer that just picks up a game and recognizes the company from back in the day, doesn't think too much about this, but the gamers who are really enveloped in the industry see this for exactly what it is. It's why we don't get broken-hearted all the time.
Well, it's the same reason why people watch Christopher Nolan or Martin Scorsese movies, right? Or they watch movies with certain actors in them. It's not really about the plot of the movie. It's about how that plot's going to be told and how you trust them to do it. It's really, I mean, it's the same thing.
No, the developers have left, and the sequels that we're looking forward to always seem to let us down. It's because it's the people that make the games, not the sign on the front of the door. On top of all this struggle, we have a long-awaited Mass Effect sequel remaining shrouded in uncertainty, while internal restructuring and growing emphasis on DEI initiatives have been rapidly destroying the once treasured studio. My source was expressing serious frustration over what they perceive as a shift away from the studio's core creative mission initially to what it's become today.
Well, that won't matter because they're going to shut it down.
Love in their heart for the studio they signed up for originally, to see what it's become now is tragic. For fans of BioWare, this is a deeply concerning development. For sure, getting rid of one of the dead weights and DEI
It's not concerning at all. It's a good thing. Anybody should be like, I remember when they got rid of that one loser who made like WoW like stories, like that Steve Denuser guy. Guy was a fucking retard. And I mean, he's not the only person who was, but he was the person in leadership, and he left the company. They never even said anything about it. Guy was a fucking moron. And so anyway, he got kicked out, and I was like, thank God, right? Finally, there's like, because I feel like a lot of the concern and like criticism around like corporate like structure is that people who are in leadership positions make bad decisions, and then people who are not in those positions are held accountable for them. So like, for example, like some director or some executive makes a decision, and then it's a bad call, and then like the development team gets let go, for example, right? And so I think that having a director or somebody who's actually at the top of the leadership, having them get removed, that's a good thing. That's a great thing.
Hand cannon going on.
It's a great start. The news of the entire studio shutting down is something that will affect everyone, including the hardworking employees that were forced into brain rot decision-making for the better part of the past decade or more. The potential closure of Edmonton, combined with leadership shakeups and unconfirmed project timelines, casts some massive doubt on the future of beloved franchises like whatever they end up doing with Dragon Age down the road, and more pertinent, Mass Effect. These once iconic series have defined BioWare's legacy, but without strong leadership and stable operations, ironically, they're